In politics, you're either on message or you are losing. Let's get to it. Welcome to On Message, a weekly look at where the battle lines are drawn and who is winning the war of words. This week, political endorsements. Election day is November 2nd, and most Utahns already have their ballots in hand, unless you're one of those go-getters who's already mailed it in. Campaigns love early voters, by the way, because once you've voted, they can stop targeting you and use resources on other voters. As we head down the stretch and candidates are expressing optimism no matter where they actually sit in the race, we're seeing campaigns pull out all of the stops. In municipal elections, the old school tactics can make a much bigger difference than in the big years. Winning the yard sign wars actually matters, and those few mailers you get in a small town mayoral or city council race can make a really big difference. 'Tis also the season for political endorsements, and one in particular caught my attention recently. I was sitting in my office working away on my computer when my phone dinged, and I had the only direct digital contact I've received during the Kaysville mayoral race. It came from candidate Jay Welk, the former Davis High basketball coach and athletic director, who now oversees career and technical education for the Davis School District. But this was no run-of-the-mill, hey, vote for me text. This one featured a celebrity endorsement from, well, if I gave you 100 guesses, you'd never get it. It was John Ratzenberger. Now, depending on your age, you either know Ratzenberger as Cliff Clavin, the mailman from Cheers, or the voice of at least one character in all of the Pixar movies. He's Ham in Toy Story, for example. Now, Ratzenberger doesn't live in Kaysville, but that doesn't really matter, at least not for the purposes of our discussion. The skills gap is an issue that he cares about, and he is supporting a candidate who knows the value of career and technical education. He even wrote an op-ed for the Deseret News about it. Now, I mentioned that small things can make a big difference in a political campaign, and that's especially true in a small race where fewer ballots overall will be cast. There were somewhere around 7,000 votes cast in Kaysville's 2017 mayoral race, a town with around 30,000 residents. The margin of victory was just under 500 votes, so standing out in any positive way can make all the difference in the world. If all voters remember is that Welk is the Cliff Clavin candidate, and those voters have a positive impression of John Ratzenberger, that may be just enough to make the difference. Now, to be clear, I don't think the same rule applies in more high-profile races. When you're running for governor or the U.S. Senate, for example, there are few celebrity endorsements that will move the needle enough to impact the final tally. On the other hand, gaining and promoting support of groups that come with a membership base that will support you, that's really helpful, if they can really deliver the votes they're promising. Stacking up those endorsements can give you some early legitimacy, and if their supporters become volunteers or online like and share champions, that's a big win as well. And these days, finding those rare micro-influencers can also be a big advantage. Who has a little social media following that will listen to them and kick votes your way? It's tricky, but if you find the right influencer with the right audience, it can be a valuable connection to make. Whether John Ratzenberger's endorsement is enough to tip the scales in Utah's hometown, we'll find out in just a few days. That's it for this week. More On Message in the next issue of the Utah Political Underground. Make sure you visit the site and sign up for our weekly email update. You can find more On Message videos, in-depth Utah political stories and analysis, plus podcasts and more at utahpoliticalunderground.com.